is sponsored by Recon Restoration and Reed's Reasonable Heating and Cooling.
And we are continuing to track the threat for ice this weekend, but it's not exactly the same for the entire region. In fact, the impact zones are kind of broken up into three main areas. Now, the northernmost area that you see in the dark blue, that's where we're actually expecting the most widespread impacts. We have the highest confidence that you are going to see some accumulation of ice that's not only going to impact roads, but even potentially power lines and tree limbs that could cause some power outages. Now, the largest area that you see, this purple right in the middle, that includes the entire Jackson metro area as well. It's a little bit more iffy because this is where the freezing line is actually going to fall, somewhere in this zone. So it's kind of going to be like a transition period where we'll have some freezing rain and also some liquid precipitation. And then our southeastern counties, so Pike all the way over to parts of Smith County, the lowest possible impacts, but you could still see some ice, especially heading into your Sunday night. So this is how this is expected to time out. So overnight, even as we see the pre-dawn hours of a Saturday into the early morning, notice the lower Delta region already seeing some of that freezing rain. But then as the precipitation increases across the area, notice where I mentioned that kind of transition zone. We're looking at frozen precipitation and liquid pretty much within the same counties as the freezing line shifts north and south a little bit throughout the time for your Saturday afternoon. We'll get a little bit of a lull before the rain comes back into your Sunday. And once again, a mix of frozen precipitation, but becoming mostly frozen by the time we head overnight, especially as temperatures plummet into your Sunday. So even those areas that are seeing rainfall, by the time we get towards your Sunday afternoon and night, will be freezing. So anything that's still on the ground is going to freeze overnight either way. On top of that, we're also seeing wind gusts. We haven't mentioned that as much, but by Sunday morning, even 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts, even lasting into your Monday for areas that have seen ice falling, especially on trees and things like that. This is unfortunately going to increase the risk that some of those limbs fall or power lines potentially fall, as we'll have gusts 20 to 25 miles per hour. And of course, that makes the temperatures feel even worse as well. More details on that coming up at 11.
County residents as safe as possible. That is going to be demonstrated, and the tip of the spear with regard to that is going to be with Joey Perkins, who is over emergency management operations for Hinds County. Will address and offer an opportunity for Joey to speak in just a moment. Well, I'm sorry, I followed my script here. I want you to hear from the person to help coordinate our operational response at the county level. I'd like to invite the Hinds County Emergency Operations Director, Mr. Joey Perkins, to the podium.
Thank you. We're actively monitoring the winter storm expected to impact our area and coordinating closely with local officials, public works, law enforcement, fire departments, utilities, National Weather Service, and MEMA. The storm has potential, as stated earlier, to create dangerous travel conditions, widespread power outages, and prolonged exposure to extremely cold temperatures. Once winter precipitation begins, we strongly urge residents to stay off the road unless travel is absolutely necessary. Residents should prepare now for the possibility of extended power outages. Charge phones and medical devices, gather flashlights and batteries. Make sure your carbon monoxide and smoke detectors are working properly and have good batteries in them in case of power outages. We ask the public to allow road crews, utilities, workers, and first responders the space they need to safely do their jobs during this event. Please rely on official sources for updates, including our emergency management social media account, local government channels, and the National Weather Service. We will continue to provide updates as conditions change. Our top priority is protecting lives and ensuring the safety of our residents. We appreciate the public's cooperation and patience as we prepare for this winter event. Thank you.
Thank you, Joey. I'd like to ask Ms. Felicia Tripp to come to the podium. She will be representing the Hinds County Board of Supervisors.
Thank you. Good morning. As stated by Mayor Horn and also our Emergency Manager and Director, Mr. Joey Perkins, the county is working closely with the city and other municipalities throughout the county to ensure that everyone is informed during this time and that safety is the first priority. We want to reemphasize that everyone who can follow the Hinds County Emergency Management Agency on Facebook for any updates, as well as the National Weather Service. For all those who can, please shelter in place. Make sure that you have your prescriptions at home. Have your water and all supplies as has been suggested. And also numbers will be provided for you to call in the event of an emergency. The county is working diligently to identify a safe plan for those who have mission essential functions, such as dispatch and first responders, to ensure that roads are clear in the event that the storm does create unsafe passages. We're asking that you call the Emergency Management Agency in the event any trees fall or unclear passages are in your area. Again, we are working as a team to make sure that during this time we alleviate or eliminate any loss of life for anyone by following the suggestions that are given to you at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tripp. You know, understanding the weather and what it's going to do and when it might do whatever it's going to do is very, very important. Let me introduce Mr. Michael Hill. He is the coordination meteorologist with the National Weather Service, and he's going to walk us through the timing and expected impacts of this winter storm.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are expecting a strong winter storm to impact most of the state of Mississippi starting tonight. However, for the Jackson metro area, we can expect to see rain to start off, okay? So tonight and tomorrow, the good day of tomorrow, a good piece of tomorrow, we can expect rain. So I don't want people to think that it's going to start icing immediately. So I don't want to lull you to sleep, so to speak, with a lot of rain. So we're going to get that rainfall all day tomorrow, okay? So you have time to go ahead and make provisions for your food, your heat sources, batteries, make your plans. You have time in the Jackson metro area to procure everything that you need tonight and tomorrow. Now, starting tomorrow evening, we're expecting temperatures to start to dip near the freezing line, near freezing, and that's when we can start to see some icing of in the Jackson area. So elevated surfaces, power lines, trees will be the first to freeze, and then as we go into Sunday morning, the conditions will continue to deteriorate as we expect icing to occur in the Jackson metro area. So we expect that to last almost all day on Sunday, and then we will have clearing conditions for Monday. However, the cold will come in behind the front Sunday into Monday. And we're talking dangerously cold temperatures for our area. We're expecting highs not to reach freezing. We won't get above freezing until at least Tuesday, perhaps even Wednesday. So whatever falls and whatever sticks to power lines and trees and icing occurs over Saturday night into Sunday will stick around for a while. And so that makes travel hazardous, and that also means that the cold can infect your elderly populations, your vulnerable populations. So please have a way to heat yourself, keep yourself safe, have your food, have your shelter in place by tomorrow evening. That's all I have for you today. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Michael. Jackson Water was not able to join us here today, but I do have a statement from Mr. Ted Hennepin, the interim third-party manager. And he wrote, quote, "For your information, Jackson Water is prepared for the freezing weather this weekend. Our only unresolved vulnerabilities is electrical service from Entergy. While we are working on a reliability project for power, that work is not complete, and we remain vulnerable to power loss causing disruptions to water service. Our crews will be on standby and ready to respond throughout the winter storm." Now, to talk about the potential impact on our power grid, I'd like to introduce and present the gentleman who heads up Entergy's operations in Mississippi, and he will talk about Entergy's preparation and how they will respond to any outages. I'd like to invite State President of Entergy, Mr. Haley Fasackley, to come to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for this opportunity to brief you about the storm. Appreciate your leadership. Entergy has been preparing all week for this storm, and preparation is a tried and tested measure. We're recognized for those efforts across the country, and what we're doing right now is following the weather, assessing it as we've heard from the National Weather Service. The challenge is, where will that freeze line end up being here? It has moved a little bit south toward us overnight. We are amassing over 1,600 restoration workers to be into the area. We serve from Memphis down just south DeSoto County into this area. So we are strategically positioning these crews to work. We are already addressing vulnerable lines, so such as the circuits that serve the water system. Those have been heavily trimmed and prepared to reduce outages, and we're ready to respond. We know in the event of outages, the way we restore is those facilities, hospitals, first responders, water systems, everything's are the first things that are back on. And then we move into the communities that are impacted. What we are monitoring is freezing rain. As the Weather Service told you here, when that accumulation starts to happen, it's just a couple of degrees below freezing, it will start to accumulate on our lines. Now, as little as 1/8 of an inch will cause small limbs and stuff to fall. There could be isolated outages. The problem area for us is 1/2 inch. That is when you start to bring tree tops down on deciduous trees, evergreens, and things of that nature. Road conditions as well. As has been advised, please encourage people to stay off the roads. Our crews will need to access that. The way it works, when the storm comes through and it's settled, we know that we have to assess the damage. We have to clear roadways. We have to get vegetation off of lines. Then we send those assessments will tell us the equipment, the supplies that are needed. We're preparing for an army. Logistics are underway. Where we will stage them, how we will feed them, how we will bathe them, all of this. We will work on 16-hour shifts through this effort. So please be patient. As you've heard, it's all about preparation. Everybody needs to be prepared, prepare for the worst. We will communicate. You can stay in touch with us through, if our customers are registered to receive text, emails, you'll receive those notifications, or you can download the My Entergy app. That will provide updates throughout that, and visit that website as well to see outage information. You can register as well through that process to receive those emails. We are prepared. We're working hard to be that. We'll be ready to respond to this effort. We thank you for your patience, and we ask you all to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Haley. We appreciate Entergy's several days of preparation, getting ready for this storm and whatever eventualities it brings. Now I want you to hear firsthand from several officials with the city to talk about what the city is and has been doing to prepare for the storm. Let me first invite our Chief Administrative Officer, Mr. Peter Tawerson, to the podium. He'll be followed by Lorenzo Anderson. He's our Public Works Director, and we all know that our streets and infrastructure run the greatest risk of being impacted. And so Mr. Anderson is going to share how we're preparing for roads and the impacts of roads and bridges and other critical infrastructure for this event. Mr. Tawerson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. I don't want to take too much time. I'll echo the comments that have been made. For the next 24 hours, prepare yourself for this storm. Starting tomorrow afternoon, if you can, shelter in place and stay there for the next 2 or 3 days. Don't be on the roads unless you have to. Please give that space for first responders, for Entergy, for other emergency providers. The city is doing what it can to prepare for the storm. As you can see, the mayor has all of the partners here rowing in the same direction, so to speak, so that we can all stand strong. In doing so, we're opening a cold weather shelter at Champions Gym. You'll also hear from Director Anderson as to the public works efforts that have begun today and will continue throughout tomorrow. We realize, as the Weather Service said, that with the freeze line coming tomorrow, we will need to salt and sand a lot of roads tomorrow, not do too much today because we don't want it to wash away with the rain. Likewise, Deputy Chief Watts, Chief Lucky over here with law enforcement have coordinated their efforts. We want you to check on your neighbors. Allow the first responders to respond to the truly emergency needs. To the extent that we can help one another, help one another. We know, unfortunately, there'll be a house fire somewhere. Let's keep those roads clear so we can fight those fires and save those lives. We know, unfortunately, someone will have a heart attack or there'll be some other incident. Make sure AMR, Jackson Police, Capitol Police, and Fire Department can all take care of those needs and stay off the roads. Again, I just want to reemphasize what the mayor has already said, as well as the other partners. We are all here together, working together. We can't control the weather, ladies and gentlemen, but we can give you a coordinated response. Thank you.
Public Works, we're in the field now. We fueled up equipment and our vehicles to do pre-treating for major roads, bridges, and overpasses. Crews will operate throughout the storm to keep critical routes open for police, fire, EMS, and other essential services. As of now, the city facilities, we're preparing to prepare those for de-icing for the critical police, fire, city hall, and also the EOC. Also, we're coordinating and working with all the essential services to keep updates for the road conditions. That's our major priority, to keep the roads open and make sure that people are safe. If we have a line down as far as energy, we ask people to do not get close to it. If the tree is down, be aware of your surroundings and make sure that it doesn't have an energy line down, and call 911 or any of the services that are going to be, I think, posted later on as far as that number with EOC. So we just ask everyone to be safe as we endure this ice storm. Hopefully we won't, but we will be prepared for the worst.
Thank you, Peter and Lorenzo. You know, one of the areas that impacts families during times such as this is what's happening with our schools. And families across Jackson depend on clear information about our school systems plan for our children's safety and schedules during severe weather. To speak about that and what Jackson Public School is preparing, including potential schedule adjustments, transportation issues, and communication with parents and staff, I now would like to invite the Superintendent of Jackson Public Schools, Dr. Eric Green, to the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your continued efforts to provide a coordinated response to this storm. We know, as you've stated, our families and team members and partners and just all of those who love our schools and our school children are keeping keen attention on our schedules. At this time, we are continuing to monitor along with the other officials the forecast. They're holding pretty steady and strong for the freezing concern, all of the weather concern, but the freezing roads, and that is one of our major concerns, and what is likely to, as it stands, likely to disrupt our schooling schedules. We will be making an announcement likely later today, if not early tomorrow, in coordination with other school districts in the area. As you all know, our families oftentimes live in other areas, or our families, our team members have kids in other areas. And so we try to present a united front, similar and concerted kind of messaging around the timing and schedule changes in that. So families can expect that we will provide the advisement on certainly on Monday, likely Monday and Tuesday, any changes to schedules by that time, and of course in continued monitoring of the freezing rain and the challenges there. Should the need for further disruption occur and we need to provide amendments to those initial announcements, we will do that on an as-needed basis, but likely any disruptions to Monday and Tuesday will give that message out to families and communities. If not today, then certainly by tomorrow, in coordination with other leaders in the area. We do just look forward to the continued work with the officials here as it pertains to any challenges to our facilities, whether it be water or loss of power and those sorts of things, as they, in addition to the weather conditions, may impact our ability to reopen should we determine that the closure needs to happen, or a late start or that sort of thing. So just stay tuned, and we'll be using all of the channels, our television channels, our social media, and other channels to get the word out and keep our families informed. Everyone, please try to stay safe.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. You know, in times such as these, what happens to the unhoused and the folks who are housing insecure. So to talk about what we're going to do with our neighbors who find themselves in that situation, I'd like to invite Jill Buckley, who is the Executive Director of STUPOT, to the podium. She will be followed by Mr. Melvin Stamps, who is the Director of the Central Mississippi Continuum of Care, to talk about what preparations are being made to assist the unhoused in this spate of bad weather. Ms. Buckley.
So STUPOT operates shelters 365 days a year, but in moments like this when the weather is dangerous for people who are already living outside, we basically make our Opportunity Center day shelter a 24-hour operation. We close down the day shelter and transition it to the night shelter, which essentially adds 30 more beds for people to find shelter in. I know that also Shower Power is opening up their emergency winter shelter, and they're adding 75 beds to the system. We have a communication loop that we've created with one another, with Salvation Army and Gateway, who also provide shelter, so that we can share resources and information. But also, if there's someone out in the community that JPD or Capitol Police or AMR might locate who needs to come in, there's an easy way to find where the best available bed is. So we're all in communication about that.
And as Jill stated, it's very important that the residents of Jackson, those that are sheltered and unsheltered, are made aware of the various emergency shelters that we're going to have activated during this particular storm. The first one being the Salvation Army at Presto Lane. The second one being Gateway Rescue Mission. The third being the STUPOT Opportunity Center. Also, we have the STUPOT Billy Broomfield. Now, that particular emergency shelter is only service males. We also have the STUPOT Matt's House that will service women and children. And also, we have the Shower Power. And like Ms. Buckley stated, it's going to have about 75 beds that's going to be available for those individuals that are either homeless, or they may not necessarily be homeless, but don't have the necessary heating that would need adequate shelter. So these are the various 6 emergency shelters that we would have in place. And if you know anyone that is unsheltered, we do ask that law enforcement assist in ensuring that those individuals are connected to one of these emergency shelters so that they can be out of this frigid weather. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Teresa with Shower Power, and we are opening our shelter tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We will be 24 hours. It's male and female. We are located at 836 South Commerce Street. We will be providing 3 hot meals a day, and we will go out starting tomorrow searching for people who are just laying on the road next to buildings, in buildings. And we do have a number listed that Jill Buckley mentioned. If someone finds somebody that needs a ride, call us. We have transportation that can come pick them up. So we are getting prepared for all of this, and thank everybody for all of your work.
All right, we want to thank Teresa Rinkenberger. We want to thank Teresa Rinkenberger for Shower Power's activism in working with the unhoused, especially at a time like this. And we thank Melvin as well as Jill with their respective organizations to talk about what we can do for the unhoused.
I want to make one correction, everyone. As it relates to the Champions Gym will not be open. So I just want to make that correction. Due to maintenance issues, Champions Gym will not be open. Anyone that's experiencing homelessness, we do ask that they go to Shower Power and to be able to be housed during that particular time. But again, Champions will not be open.
Thank you for that clarification, Melvin. We want to talk about law enforcement now. We want to talk about how law enforcement is getting ready for the storm, to talk about road safety, how residents can help keep first responders safe. And to do that, I'm going to recognize Assistant Chief Wendell Watts to the podium. Chief Sheriff Jones himself is down with the flu right now and could not join us today. And he will be followed by Chief of Capitol Police, Bo Lucky. Chief Watts.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. Public safety remains at the center of everything we do. Our goal is to protect life, keep critical services operating, and ensure that first responders can reach you when seconds matter. The Jackson Police Department is in full readiness posture for the winter weather. Patrol staffing is adjusted to ensure coverage across all precincts, especially in high-risk corridors and critical areas. We're coordinating closely with all law enforcement, EOC, Fire Department, Emergency Management, EMS, Public Works, MDOT, and our local hospitals. Ice is more dangerous than snow. Roads may look clear, but can have ice build up that you cannot see. If you do not have to travel, don't. Every unnecessary trip increases risk. If you must drive, slow down below normal speeds. Do not follow closely to other vehicles. Avoid sudden braking. Your bridges and overpasses in shaded areas freeze first. A single crash can delay ambulances and first responders from reaching someone in need. Please stay off the road unless it is essential. Keep driveways and walkways clear if possible so responders can safely reach your home. Call 911 for true emergencies. Use non-emergency lines for minor issues to keep lines open. Check on your neighbors, especially seniors and those with medical needs. Shelter in place if possible. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. McHugh.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for being here today. I'm not going to waste a lot of time repeating a lot of things that's already been said. The officials so far have done an amazing job of covering a lot of points. I just want to reassure everybody that Capitol Police, we will be bringing in our officers throughout this weather incident to make sure that our coverage is as efficient as possible. Our officers will be on standby and we will be monitoring these situations. We will be calling in additional staff as needed. That's not just Capitol Police, but DPS as a whole. Mississippi Highway Patrol is also going to be monitoring the situation. They will be on standby. They will be activated when needed. Again, to reiterate what other officials are saying, this is an event that should be taken very seriously, and we hope that y'all will heed these warnings and stay off the roadways as much as possible. These situations are very dangerous. I don't want people to think that this is just another event where it was hyped up to be worse than it is. Let's take it serious. And if you see something out and about, if you hear of something, call us, report it to us. Like I said, we will be monitoring, and a lot of times the only way that we know something is going on in your neighborhood or in your community is if you reach out and let us know. So in order to do that, I would like to give you Capitol Police's direct number. It's 601-359-3125. Again, 601-359-3125. Anything weather-related, please call that number, report to us. Let us know what you're seeing. Let us know what you're experiencing. Also, as always, emergency calls, 911. Let's try to keep those lines open. We do anticipate a high call volume related to this event, especially if it gets as serious as we are anticipating. So please try to manage that properly. But again, I want to reiterate the Capitol Police has been coordinating with city officials, county officials, and we are working together to make sure we provide the most efficient response necessary to make sure everything goes as well as necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Lucky. You know, fire and rescue teams will be on the front line during this event to share more information about emergency response, heater and generator safety, and fire prevention during extreme cold. Let me ask to the podium Chief of the Fire Department, Mr. Rayshawn Thomas.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to assure you that the Jackson Fire Department is ready to respond along with other city services when we're prepared for this. I want to remind you to make sure your generators, if you're going to use them, that they're placed outside, not inside, due to the chemicals and combustibles from a generator. If you're going to use a space heater, make sure that you have the proper wattage to the space heater. However, remember that the streets are going to be iced over. So it's going to take a little bit of time for those large fire trucks to make it to the scene. However, the Jackson Fire Department is ready to respond, as always, and keep the city safe. And if you need us, call 911. We'll be coming right on the way. But as all the other city services represented here today, we're prepared and we're ready to respond to keep our city safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Thomas. That's it for the presenters. As you can see, I think we've been pretty thorough in involving all the pertinent agencies and partners, including our utility partners, to demonstrate that we are getting ready for this storm. We're taking it seriously. And it may disrupt travel. It may create dangerous cold conditions for several days. Our team across the city of Jackson, Hinds County, and the state of Mississippi, our nonprofits, our utility partners are working together around the clock. But we need every resident to do their part. Please limit travel once conditions begin to deteriorate. Protect people and pets from the cold. Check on seniors, check on neighbors who have vulnerabilities or disabilities, and anyone who may be without reliable heat. Make sure you have flashlights, batteries, medications, and a way to receive updates in case of power outages. We will continue to push our information through our website, social media, local media partners, and our emergency management channels as the situation evolves. If you need shelter or assistance, do not wait until conditions are at their worst to reach out. With that, we'll open the floor for questions that any of the members of the media might have.
Mr. Mayor, what's the plans for public transportation, J.J.?
And the only person that I omitted from this entire operation was our manager, Roger Trans.
Good morning, everyone. With the forecast extreme temperatures and the potential road hazard, we would like the public to be aware that J-Tran will probably have to close, or we will run on a reduced schedule startup time. If you stay tuned to the local media, as has been stated here, through ridejtran.com, that information will be communicated to the public. But our most essential concern is the safety of our employees as well as the passengers. Those big buses are extremely vulnerable in ice conditions. So please stay tuned to the local media force and then tune into our ridejtran.com website.
All right, thank you. This is Christine Welch, who runs our J-Tran operation. She does a great job for us. Any other questions?
Mayor, can you just talk about what are some things the city is doing to treat the roads for when this winter weather does come through the area?
For that response, let me turn it back over to Lorenzo Anderson, the Public Works.
Right now, we're putting salt and sand on the bridges, the essential areas as far as major corridors, and that will allow us to once, if we have ice, that it will help with since that's the first infrastructure to freeze, and then we'll work our way out to essential areas as we're directed by the EOC, and we're preparing our facilities as the same way as far as de-icing. So that's what we're doing today.
Law
enforcement question. What's the backup plan if the event that 911 services go out, and how are officers and everybody else kind of equipped to deal with weather-related situations like this?
Mr. Peter Chambers will respond to that question.
I'm gonna get that one, Chief Lucky.
Well, I can speak for Capitol Police. Our facility is on generator power, so we should be fine. Now, EOC and Chief Watts can speak more towards their capabilities, but as far as the county and communications with county and city. But another thing I do want, since we mentioned that, I do want to make people aware of some areas that are traditionally an issue whenever we have these types of events. The stack being one. I think we all remember when the stack was a parking lot because it was froze over on multiple occasions. So the stack, be leery of that. High Street, there's an incline on High Street that can be a challenge when it ices over. And also any bridges and overpasses. We have several in this area. So please be careful and cautious if you do have to get out. But again, I don't anticipate anything as far as utility issues affecting the way Capitol Police operates, because we do have backup generators that will kick on at that time. However, this is a severe weather event, and if other utility sources go down, like I said, Hinds County EOC can speak more towards that since they control the actual communications for the state of Mississippi. So I'll let Hinds County.
Hey, good morning. To speak about 911, we have a very robust 911 system. Without getting into detail for security reasons, all of our 911 centers have generators. We have backup systems. We have backup dispatch centers. So we are prepared for that.
We follow Chief Lucky, even though I gave the floor to him. Folks, use your common sense. Do not try and cross the Fortification Street Bridge over the railroad tracks. Do not try and cross the Baby Street Bridge over the railroad tracks. Those are particularly steep bridges. They were definitely iced. Same thing with Highway 18, where it crosses over the railroad tracks, out past where it used to be the Metro Center. As Chief Lucky has said, it is absolutely imperative that if you do not need to be on the road, do not get on the road. And if you get on the road, use some judgment to take a path that does not involve bridges, and particularly steep bridges. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Chief.
The Jackson Police Department is in with EOC right now. We're redoing our dispatch center over here at right next to headquarters. So we will have all the backup systems that they have.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I thought the question was about the 311 system, not the 911 system. Let me also mention that we are also in discussion with a private philanthropist who is in discussions with Capitol Police, JPD, and the county, particularly with the Sheriff's Department, to try to come up with a consolidated 911 system. We know that there are some holes in our current way of doing things, and we're in discussion to see if it makes sense and if it's affordable to consolidate those services. So when you dial from a place in the county, the sheriff's office know they need to take that call. Or if it's within the CCID footprint, that call gets routed through geofencing to Capitol Police, as well as calls going where they need to go to the Jackson Police Department. Any further questions?
This might be kind of a follow-up here towards EOC. If cell phone towers go down and people don't have a landline, what can they do to get assistance?
Well, let me defer to Chief Ward again. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, Joey Perkins is in charge of emergency operations for the county. Joey, have we ever had situations where there's been towers that have gone down?
I mean, as you know, it's infrastructure, it can go down. You know, you can use the internet, social media, there's several ways to communicate.
I'm saying more so for like the elderly, like maybe that don't have those kinds of resources, like I said, not a landline, cell phone towers go out, what would be the best plan for them?
You know, that's a good question. That's why we should check on our neighbors. Make
Let me
sure.
echo that. It's unlikely that we'll see cell towers go down. About 10 years ago, Hinds County integrated itself into what's called the MIS-WIN system, which is a statewide communication system from the coast up to DeSoto County that was implemented after Hurricane Katrina. About a decade ago, working with Mr. Perkins, the county integrated itself into that system. So there is some county redundancy with the state MIS-WIN system as well. That's a good question as to what you should do. And as Joey said, all of us ought to check on our neighbors. But I want to assure the public, it is highly unlikely that that system and the redundancies and the generators, all of that will all go down.
Yeah, let me reiterate, all of our infrastructure, you know, public safety infrastructure is redundant.
Yeah, and I believe that all of our law enforcement and emergency operations is tied into the MIS-WIN system.
And I got one more question, Mayor. Just how important, reiterate how important it is for people to take the advice that you all are giving and not take any of this lightly.
Well, taking this advice could be the difference between life and death in some cases. We urge people to take this storm seriously. It could be a life and death situation, and it's better to be forewarned, forearmed, and prepared in the event that the storm gets as bad as we think it may, or even worse. And so we would ask people to please take heed to the advice that's been presented to you by the various representatives of law enforcement, public safety, utility partners, and so forth, education system. So take it seriously, and we don't want to see someone reach a bad end because they didn't listen to this advice and did something that was unprepared.
Cameron, do you have anything? Good. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Oh, and let me say this. As of 11:30 this morning, we will be declaring a state of emergency in the city of Jackson. Thank you.